in their life.
All right.
Those who crave
Whoa!
Ortega.
At 10, 4 large clinics threaten to pull out of Physicians' Health Plan.
The 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade is brought to you in part by the many fine products of General Mills, by True Value Hardware Stores, more than just a name, it's their way of doing business, by Domino's Pizza, free delivery in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed, by Ethan Allen Galleries for those interiors of your mind, and by Sargento of Wisconsin, the persnickety cheese people.
Live from downtown Minneapolis, WCCO Television, the Aquatennial Parade Station presents complete coverage of the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. With Pat Miles, Don Shelby, Mark Rosen, Bill Carlson, and special guest host, Wheel of Fortune's Pat Sajak. And now, it's the 48th Annual Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. The legend sails.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to WCCO Television's live coverage of the 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. I'm Bill Carlson.
And I'm Don Shelby. Very, very happy to be here with you, along with Pat Miles once again for the Torchlight Parade. Excited about a grand parade about to come up, but even more excited by the fact of our company being accompanied by a very special guest host, Pat Sajak from Wheel of Fortune. That's for those of you who haven't seen me on the air yet today. You know, the most exciting thing to me is we made it from the roof to the parade site and took out only 4 or 5 pedestrians along the way. I think we should be congratulated for that.
That's the first time. Because we have done a program before we came to the parade site, we drove here with a police escort in a limousine. I think that's the first time that's ever happened for me.
Only for Pat Sajak.
It was fun, though.
This is going to be a fun night. I'm looking forward to it. I'll just be looking out here and looking at the sights. And if you need me to say anything, just nudge, because I'll probably just be going ooh and ah.
We'll need you to say a few things. You're no stranger to parades. You've done the Rose Bowl parades.
Yeah.
You've done the Macy's parade. You've done lots of parades.
Yeah, I've seen some beautiful floats and beautiful parades. I've never seen a parade in the evening, though, so I'm looking forward to that. And I've heard such great things about the Torchlight Parade that I don't have to tell any of you about it. Certainly you, I don't have to tell.
This parade this year, by the way, has changed its route, so it is going to be different, Pat. This will be the first year that this parade will begin at Central and University and then head across the 3rd Avenue Bridge. It will wind its way through downtown from there. But our location is at the end of the 3rd Avenue Bridge, just across from the post office. As you can see, it's a beautiful view from here, and we have people who have lined up all down the street. We've had a chance to meet some of them just as we arrived, but we're going to have a bird's eye view of this parade tonight, so we are in a good parade position. Proud to be here.
And that parade will begin at about 8:30 p.m., about 22 minutes away from right now. Many people, as you pointed out, Pat, along this parade route, and many of them have chosen the bridge here from which to view the parade. All the Disney characters you saw in our coverage of the Grand Day Parade last Saturday will also be in this parade. That includes Snow White, Dopey, Mickey Mouse, Pluto, Goofy. Kids love seeing all of them. And also lots of fabulous new floats this year, award-winning bands, special feature units, all kinds of things, so you won't want to miss any of them.
Yeah, and you know, the honorary Grand Marshal is this year. It's a fellow named Captain Hook, who flew in from Disneyland just to be with us, so that should be exciting. Speaking of all the Disney stuff, all right, let's name the 7 dwarfs. Never mind. We'll pick it up another time. Don't send letters. We'll look it up.
This is the 48th annual, and you know, Bill, you've been to every one of them. You have probably been the host of...
How many have you done, Bill?
How many of these parades?
I think probably 17 or 18 years, and of course 2 parades a year. That's too many to
That makes you 146 years old, Bill.
Exactly.
You look great.
The theme this year is the legend sails, and it is wonderful to see the Aquatennial committees bring it back to the idea of water as they have done this year, and we'll see that theme repeated throughout the parade as it begins. But it has a very interesting history and how it got started. We sent our own Tom Hanneman out to look into the history of the Aquatennial and find out how it all began.
To live in Minnesota in the summertime, Well, it's no surprise that our forefathers wanted to show off our many parks and lakes. It all started in 1939, when a group of Minneapolitans visited a summer festival in Winnipeg and decided we could do even better here. The first Aquatennial, meaning water festival, was born a year later. Gene Autry was the Grand Marshal, and the big events included the Aqua Follies, a bowling championship, a swimming meet, and the rest, well, the rest is history.
It was a time when men were men and, well, World War II greatly affected those first few Aquatennial celebrations. Parades became public displays of patriotism. Fashion took a back seat to practicality, and just about anything military was in vogue. People sure knew how to have a good time in those days. The big events of the 40 included the Queen competition, a rodeo, the mayor's milking contest, a barbershop quartet competition, and many water-related activities. Ask anyone about those early Aquatennial days, and they'll talk about the Aqua Follies. Coordinator Fred Smith describes their appeal.
Well, it was one of the feature events of the Aquatennial for many years. It was situated on the shores of Worth Lake. It was a great family show that anybody could see. Good, clean entertainment.
And they're off. By the early 1950s, Aquatennial had earned the reputation as America's greatest summer festival. Several aqua institutions were sanctioned in those years.
Aqua fever is running high now.
Through the years, Minnesotans have learned to regard many Aquatennial events as tradition. I guess you could say that thanks to the Aquatennial, some things never change.
Well, we want to congratulate
Aqua Jesters.
Aqua Jesters?
They forgot that. You like that, didn't you, the Aqua Jesters?
I do. I like it. It comes trippingly off the tongue. We want to congratulate again the winners we had earlier in the contest. We had 10 winners of a home game of, what's the name of that thing? Wheel of something.
No, Wheel of.
Yeah. And our third place winner again, the Marantz VHS videotape recorder Alonzo Smith of St. Paul. The trip to Las Vegas went to Marcella
Ellingson, I think.
Ellingson, yeah, of Cedar, Minnesota. Thanks a lot, Bill. I don't know what I'd do without you. And Barb Loesch of Kimball, Minnesota, won the big grand prize, a trip to Los Angeles Hotel, and a chance to try out for Wheel of Fortune, and goodness knows what else. So
you know, at this particular moment, we have more people watching you, Pat, than are watching the parade. But we're going to be back, and we're going to turn things around in just a couple of moments. So go away.
Where's the regular pasta meals?
This canned spaghetti.
But guys, I can't feed them kids food. Here we go.
When kids outgrow canned pasta, they're ready for the great taste of Ragu pasta meals.
That's great.
Grow up to Ragu pasta meals. Great taste you don't get from canned pasta.
Sometimes your skin gets so dry, you can scratch the word dry right on your hand. And the drier your skin, the more you need Vaseline Intensive Care Lotion. It soothes and starts healing dry skin on contact. That's today's Vaseline Intensive Care.
Lately, shopping at Best Buy has become so popular, people want to buy everything in our stores.
Where's the bakery?
Probably because of our huge selection,
Sweat sock.
our great service,
Excuse me, where are the fondue sets?
and our guaranteed lowest prices.
You got a muffler for a Buick?
But remember, at Best Buy, we just sell stereos, TVs, appliances, and cameras at very low prices.
But my wife says you have cat litter.
To keep your shredded cheese fresh, you can stick to the old ways. Or you can try the new Zip Pack resealable bag from Sargento of Wisconsin.
The big news in nutrition is calcium. But if you're looking for calcium in your cornflakes, we've really got news for you. There's none there. Product 19, Raisin Bran and Grape Nuts are nearly bone dry, too. But Whole Wheat Total has calcium. Now, besides 100% of 9 vitamins and iron, Total's the only major cereal that's an excellent source of calcium. See, calcium isn't so hard to find if you know where to look. Total, And now try Total Cornflakes, the only cornflakes that's a major source of calcium.
Welcome back to WCCO TV's live coverage of the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. We have a shot now from Captain Dale Dobish high above the Twin Cities parade route. Isn't that nice? Look at that.
Yeah, as you
How
can
many
see.
people turn out for this, Bill? I've heard as many as 300,000 people have turned out for Aquatennial.
I've heard a lot of estimates, and that must be pretty close. As you can see, we are located right across the street from the post office at the western end of the 3rd Avenue Bridge. The parade should be coming by here about 25 minutes or so. It starts at the other end of the bridge in 20 minutes, so it'll be coming by our position about 25 minutes from now. So, folks, you are going to want to be thinking about where you're going to be seated at that time. This year's parade will be a bit shorter than it has been in previous years. It's supposed to run about an hour and a half, so we'll be covering it right up till 10 o'clock or so. Give a few minutes.
You know, I know in addition to the parade, the Aquatennial Festival has a lot of other things going on. And I'm not the world's brightest guy, but let's see, Aquatennial, Minnesota lakes. I bet a lot of the stuff's on water.
That's exactly what they're trying to do this year, is to return the Aquatennial to the water theme, and they've been planning even more events on the water. Now, one of the events that I particularly enjoy, and one that's really fun because it's over by Lake of the Isles, is called Water Ski Show of the Stars, and it is on Lake of the Isles. The Prior Lake Ski Club performs every year for this show, and we had a chance to drop in on one of the rehearsals. We'd like for you to see that right now.
The Prior Lake Water Ski Club has been entertaining audiences for the past 27 years. And as show director Brent Greenwood explains, the group makes skiing look a whole lot easier than it really is.
We have about 35 skiers that actually do the skiing, and then we have another 15 or so that are behind the scenes. We start in early May, and we usually practice once, sometimes twice a week. We have in our show approximately 18 acts that we'll be doing, and it's all set along a theme. Every year we pick a theme for our shows, and this year it's the circus theme.
Maybe what we should do, Mark, is just you do a flying dock. I'll pull you down this way.
Some of the main attractions would include our barefooting. We always have very good barefooting acts.
Mark Youngdahl has been competitively barefooting for the past 4 years.
I guess an important part of beginning barefooting is learning how to fall right. Once a person learns how to fall right, it's really quite safe and a lot of fun. Tumble turns are where a skier will go down onto his back and spin around on his back and stand back up. It's similar to breakdancing, actually.
Another act which takes strength and steady nerves to master is the pyramid.
The hardest part about the pyramid is finding people to climb it, getting over the fear of climbing up maybe 20 feet in the air and on someone's shoulders, and being able to smile at the same time and look like you're having a good time.
In contrast to the barefoot and pyramid acts, the ballet group works on finesse.
We just got together here on the beach one day and figured out what we would do with our arms and our legs for the routine this year.
And for all the thrill seekers who come to watch, there's something just for them.
We have the jumping events, which are always exciting, where you have a person go long distance, and then you also have 4 people going over the jump at the same time.
Yes, the Prior Lake Water Ski Show is guaranteed to make your head spin.
Now, if you're interested in that event, it takes place on Sunday. That's July 26th, and it is from 3 to 5 p.m. It's a good event.
You interested in that event, Pat?
Well, it's live. Let's do something. Let's form a pyramid. Come on, guys.
Right here, right now. While we're setting that pyramid up, we're going to take this break. We'll be right back at the 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade.
A&W, the root beer people, have a new cream soda. Naturally, they wanted a star of the first magnitude to introduce it. Luckily, I was available. This A&W cream soda has such old-style creamy taste, it's amazing. In fact, one sip made me wax so nostalgic for the old days, I had all my childhood buddies come visit me in Hollywood. Hi, buddies. New A&W cream soda, regular or diet?
My dad didn't have the words to tell me He loved me. But then he didn't have to. See, they were written all over his face. And now that all your work is done, hello? Dad. Hi. Hey, son. They're not working you too hard, are they? No, Dad. I won't drift away.
Long distance from Northwestern Bell. Don't drift away.
It's your call. You can enjoy the fresh baked quality from Domino's Pizza or take your chances with the Noid. So make the call and taste all the quality from Domino's Pizza. Avoid the Noid. Domino's Pizza delivers. Call now.
Call Domino's Pizza, ask for the Beat the Heat special, a six-pack of icy cold Coke for just 99 cents with any pizza. Beat the heat this summer with Domino's Pizza.
Attention car buyers, don't buy anything until you see this. Now, buy any Mazda 626 in stock and choose $900 in options free from Mazda or get $900 cash back. Buy one of these 323s in stock and choose $500 in options free from Mazda or get $500 cash back. Use cash back toward your down payment or get a check from Mazda. Hurry! Get $900 on 626 or $500 on 323 today.
Welcome back to WCCO TV's live coverage of the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. I'm Don Shelby, along with Pat Miles, Bill Carlson, our special guest host, Pat Sajak, from the Wheel of Fortune. Our fifth wheel tonight is Mark Rosen. He's out there with another big star from Houston Knights. Mark.
That's right, Don. His name is Michael Paré, the star of Houston Knights on CBS and here, of course, on Channel 4. And Michael, welcome to the Twin Cities, and welcome especially to the Minneapolis Aquatennial.
Thanks a lot, Mark. I came here for the Aquatennial. It's good to be here. I hope you're all going to watch Houston Knights. It starts up again on the 28th of this month.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. Those are the reruns, and that starts the 28th of July?
Yeah, 28th of July. I start shooting next Monday, and we'll be on with new episodes in September.
Tell me a little bit about your role on Houston Knights.
I play a wise guy cop from Chicago who gets transferred to Houston and has to deal with the cowboy mentality.
Now, is that a tough role? Now, you grew up in Brooklyn, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, and it took a little getting used to moving to California, so I guess I've got a little background for the part.
I think a lot of fans also remember Michael as the star of Eddie and the Cruisers, a great movie, and I understand they're going to be making a sequel to that.
Yeah, that'll start up in April of next year, as long as the Scotty brothers get the music together.
Well, enjoy yourself tonight. You got your wave down, ready to say hello to all the fans here in the Twin Cities?
Yeah, I've been working on a wave, watching those Oliver North interviews, and he's got it down,
It looks like you got it done. Michael, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
All right. Guys, back to you.
All right, Mark, we'll see you later on throughout the parade today, finding the people in the crowd, bringing it to us.
Now, there is a certain way to wave in a parade. Yeah. There is. I mean, somebody told me that one of the beauty pageant contestants said that they have to learn.
This morning I was on a radio show with Mark, and they do the show from his kitchen. That's the cheapest radio station, apparently, in the world. They can't afford a studio. We went into the man's house, but it was a lot of fun. We got to talk to
Tom Kelly?
Twins manager Tom Kelly, but again, that's a first, doing it actually. I'm going to try a dining room next time.
Pat, as we mentioned before, a lot more water activities are planned this year for the Aquatennial. One of the brand new water-related events is the 1987 Aquatennial Cup Regatta, to be held this coming weekend on Lake Minnetonka. This race is hopefully going to become an annual event that will attract regional sailors vying for a traveling trophy. And the race will also make the public aware that Minneapolis is home to many world-class sailors, for example, like 1988 Olympic sailing coach Gordy Bowers.
Get ready for the halyard?
For most sailors, sailing is a recreational sport, a way to spend an exhilarating afternoon on one of Minnesota's many lakes. But for Gordy Bowers of Minnetonka, the sailing bug that bit him when he was 9 years old has become a way of life. Gordy gave up a law practice and opened a sail loft in order to stay close to the water. In addition to the many hours he spends in the business of designing and making sails, Gordy also spends as many as 25 hours a week on sailboats, either racing in regattas or helping other sailors improve their skills.
Keep the trim on right now. That's it. We're sailing right now. That's it. Let's get out, Jack. Move forward a little bit.
His dedication has made him one of the country's top sailors. Recently, in a fleet of 41 boats from the Midwest area, Gordy won the Inland Lakes Yachting Association ESCOW Invitational Regatta on White Bear Lake. It's no accident that Minnesota has produced some of the nation's best sailors.
Well, I think the reason we have good sailors in Minnesota is first the conditions of the lakes. I mean, the lakes are relatively small, things happen fast, as the wind shifts. It forces you to anticipate farther ahead. And true at any sport, the difference between the good and the not so good is how well they anticipate. The conditions that we have here, while they look like they wouldn't be conducive to good racing, are exactly the conditions that you need to become a good racer.
For Gordy, the Aquatennial Cup Regatta is more than just another event during the festival.
Well, it means an opportunity for us to promote the sport probably more than anything else. I've devoted most of my life to sailing, and I enjoy exposing other people to the fun and the enjoyment of sailing. I guess that is a big kick with me. I've sailed, as I said, for a long time, and it's fun to see the other guy's face light up when you get out and you go sailing with people and show them a little bit what to do and how things should be done a little bit different, and you see them kind of catch the bug, if you will, and that's a real big part of what I enjoy it so much. I enjoy showing other people and exposing other people to this sport.
Although this year's event encompasses local sailors only, supporters like Gordy Bowers hope to encourage regional competition to attract the country's best sailors.
Well, I'd like to see that the Aquatennial Cup makes a statement about sailing, sailboat racing, and the enthusiasm that we have here in the Midwest for the sport of sailing.
And, of course, we want to remind folks that Aquatennial Cup event takes place this coming week on Lake Minnetonka between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. And it's sponsored by the Wayzata Yacht Club and Holiday Inn, Minneapolis
All
West.
Right. Now, don't go away, because in just a few minutes, we are going to present the official opening for the Torchlight Parade featuring the University of Minnesota Alumni Band and the University of Minnesota Dance Line and cheerleaders. It's going to be a special torchlighting ceremony, so you make sure you're staying tuned.
True Value Hardware, it's more than a name.
Reel in a big deal with the heavy-duty Master Electrician 60-foot extension cord and a place to store it with the rugged Contico 100-foot cord storage reel. During July, take your choice for just $4.99 each. Look for the Hardware Value of the Month banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Attention car buyers. Don't buy anything until you see this. Now, buy any Mazda 626 in stock and choose $900 in options free from Mazda or get $900 cash back. Buy one of these 323s in stock and choose $500 in options free from Mazda or get $500 cash back. Use cash back toward your down payment or get a check from Mazda. Hurry! Get $900 on 626 or $500 on 323 today.
The frosted denims from Target. Men's jeans just $17.99. Junior's jeans just $17.99 too. Boys and girls frosted denims are also on sale. Frosted denim from Target. It's a good fit for the times.
The weather is hot. Time to cool off with a salad from McDonald's today. Get an anchor food, keep it for your leftovers too. Hot or cold, serve them up either way.
Right now, when you buy any one of McDonald's 4 fresh entree salads, you'll get a microwave food keeper from Anchor Hocking for just 69 cents. They go from freezer to microwave or conventional oven.
It's a good time. That's what I care for the great taste of McDonald's.
And welcome back, everyone, to WCCO TV's live coverage of the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. I'm Pat Sajak from that game show that's on television. and I'm here with the pastel broadcast crew here for a symphony in colors tonight.
6 minutes to go before the parade starts. I want to say now, if we don't have an opportunity to say it again, when the parade gets going, it's a wonderful thing to have you here with us. You'll make this coverage and this day already so special.
Believe me, if the parade is as big as this broadcasting team, it's going to be quite an evening.
You know, they were going to lead the news tonight with the fact that there was one 10-minute period today when Pat Sajak was not on Channel 4.
Yeah, I'm getting a little tired of me.
Right now, you're going to be treated, and everyone around here is going to be treated to a very, very special opening number by the University of Minnesota's alumni band, along with the dance line and the cheerleaders. Now, if you're going to watch close, we would like you to pay particular attention to a routine that they've worked out, which is a special torch lighting ceremony within the performance. So let's sit back and enjoy WCCO TV's official kickoff of the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. University of Minnesota Alumni Band, the dance line, and the cheerleaders with a very visual kickoff to the Torchlight Parade.
It's still smoking out there and probably will for a while. We also want to thank, before we get to the parade itself and don't have an opportunity, we want to thank the folks at Bachman's for the flowers on our set here. You may have noticed special aerial views, especially during that opening number. Special device provided to us, a cherry picker kind of crane provided to us by Road Machinery and Supply Company, and that's the kind of picture it gets, and there's the kind of device it takes to get it. And as you can see in the background, a helicopter flying over too. This particular device came to us from Road Machines and Supply Company. Thank you to all of them.
Be careful up there. Now, don't go away, anyone, because we will be back with live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade.
Won't miss a moment.
Hello, Mother.
Hello.
We're the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Bakers.
I know.
Of course you do.
It does taste like cinnamon toast.
Like homemade. We use the finest ingredients, like whole wheat.
That's good.
With sprinkles of real cinnamon and sugar. Less sugar than most kids' cereal.
That's great.
Taking homemade taste.
Better leave some for the kids.
In the cinnamon toast crunch. Racing on the water, just you and me. Running wild, running free. Run, 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 Kawasaki.
Jet Ski Watercraft by Kawasaki. The ultimate water pistol.
Fly across the water on a jumping jet. Kawasaki gets the good times wet. Fun, 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 Kawasaki.
See your local Kawasaki dealer today.
I knew there was a reason I was putting it off.
Ethan Allen's summer sale.
Now I can get the night tables and a four-poster bed.
A chance to dream and get just what you've had in mind.
A buffet.
At very special prices with our free decorating service.
Wing chair, wallpaper. I can see it.
Ethan Allen's summer sale for the interiors of your mind.
Aha! You were going to sneak another Shamatop, and that could be the last strawberry and cream with chocolate. And I wouldn't find out until tomorrow when it was too late, and I would be very, very, very upset. Very upset. Oh!
Shamatov, the super premium bar.
Welcome back to the 48th Annual Torchlight Parade, and should be coming by in just a few moments now. The crowd is gathering. The streets are clearing for the parade at the parade route here. As we think about maybe going to Mark Rosen, we hesitate to do so because we understand he has a guest with him who uses his foot during the Vikings football season to help us win, but during the off-season uses his foot to put in his mouth on Rosen Sports Sunday. Mark Rosen, please.
You know who's going to have the last word here, Don. It's amazing who you find in the crowd. You're talking, of course, about Greg Coleman, punter for the Minnesota Vikings, looking very summer-like, Greg, for this occasion tonight. You got the whole family out here?
Yeah, we all came out for the Torchlight Parade. It's actually our first time here. You know, I've never seen so many people gather at one spot at one time, other than a Vikings football game, but that's fine, too. Speaking of people putting things in their mouth, Shelby, we just got a complaint from the DNR that you have been keeping undersized bass that you've been catching out of Lake Minnetonka. So they have filed an official complaint for you keeping little fish like this.
It's very true. And I know the Vikings are big fans of the Wheel of Fortune. You guys stop practice, you stop film sessions, you stop the game sometimes even to watch the show.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, Wheel of Fortune is the official Minnesota Vikings show. I hesitated to call Vanna earlier today and said, Vanna, you know, once we get in the playoffs and Super Bowl and all this kind of stuff, we may have to bump your show. She said, you guys get in the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl, you can bump my show anytime.
No problem. Speaking of football, of course, you guys will be in camp on a nice night like this. I'm sure your mind just travels right to Mankato, where you will be playing for the Vikings starting August the 3rd, right? Can't wait, right, Greg?
Well, training camp is something that has to happen, and we have to be there for a period of time, and hopefully we can adjust and get through it and come back on our off day and show Don Shelby how to catch real bass.
You can do it. There's a challenge. Greg, have fun tonight.
Okay, thanks a lot.
See you on the Vikings tonight starting this fall.
Well, I don't know if we're going to call it Vikings tonight. Pat, what do you think about calling it Greg Coleman and Friends?
Yeah, really. There we go. This is what I have to put up with all year.
Hey, everybody knows real men catch a walleye anyway, right?
I guess that's true.
Before we go to the parade, we just want to remind you all that the Aquatennial Festival, of course, continues now through Sunday, July 26th, and there are many activities planned between now and then, so get your calendars out because we have a preview of some of the events that are coming up. Let's take a look. The sport of sailboarding is thrilling for participants and spectators alike. So come and enjoy the Aquatennial Sailboard Classic held from noon to 4 p.m. on Saturday, July 25th at Lake Calhoun. Misty mornings will become bright and beautiful on the waters of Lake Minnetonka as sailboats and their crews compete in the Aquatennial's Cup Regatta on Sunday, July 26th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The incredible beauty, color, and size of rising hot air balloons can be enjoyed at 7 p.m. on Saturday, July 25th, starting at the Lakeville Airport. Come build your empire in the sand during the Aquatennial Sandcastle competition. This opportunity, offered Sunday, July 26th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Lake Calhoun, gives everyone a chance to build a castle of their dreams. The Prior Lake Ski Club offers exciting action from trick skiing to precision jumping during the Aquatennial's Water Ski Show on Sunday, July 26th from 3 to 5 p.m. on Lake of the Isles. Artisans and students from across the United States will display their talents in a special art days on the mall. This extravaganza runs from Wednesday, July 22nd through Saturday, July 25th. The booths will be open from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. each day. We have had beautiful weather for most of the Aquatennial events, and tonight, of course, everybody predicted that it would be hot, but we've got kind of a cool breeze, so it's beautiful out here.
Just perfect. And, of course, the parade is just starting across the bridge. We're not going to miss a moment of it. We'll be back in just a moment for the 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. Don't you go away.
Take me back where I belong. Take me where it's safe and warm.
The Goodyear Vector is the all-season radial that pumps water away to keep more tire tread on the road. And for some, that's a comforting thought.
Take me home. Goodyear, take me home. Never matters how far I go. Goodyear, take me home.
To keep your shredded cheese fresh, you can stick to the old ways. Or you can try the new zip-pack resealable bag from Sargento of Wisconsin.
Honey, enough.
Almost. Tired of losing.
I knew it.
Next time. Tired of missing out.
Oh, gee.
Time and time again.
I give up.
It's time you played Hardy's $40 million pocket money game. You could win up to $10,000 just by matching heads and tails. Plus, we guarantee you'll win a delicious food prize every time you play. So play pocket money.
We won't.
And get a real taste of winning. Because at Hardy's, we're out to win you over.
Back at the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade site, Bill Carlson along with Pat Miles and Don Shelby and Pat Sajak. We're going to turn it out to our fifth wheel, as you described a few moments ago, Mark Rosen. You'll never live that one down. Little Marky Rosen.
Thanks a lot, Bill. We have a special guest here. Her name is Jeanette Link. Now, I remember my folks used to take me to the Aquatennial. There was a special event not too far from here over at Theaterworth Park. The Aqua Follies was a tremendous event that went on for years and years, and in 1949, correct, Jeanette, you were a member of that troupe.
Yes, in 1949, I was a swimmer in the Aqua Follies.
And they were called the Aqua Bells, if I recall.
Right. We were called the Aqua Bells, and the women that were dancers were called the Aqua Dancers, and they had a full stage show as well as the show of synchronized swimming in the pool.
What do you recall that was so special about that year in the Aqua Follies?
Well, that was one of the years that they started to use fluorescence in the shows. And so we had fluorescent swimming suits, and there were dark numbers with all kinds of fluorescent lights. And it was really very exciting and very dramatic.
I know a lot of people really enjoyed that. Did you still get a lot of comments about that? Did people come up to you years after that happened and ask you about that one special year for yourself?
Yes, it's been a special year for me. Most of us were in that only 1 year while we were going to college. And at that time, Helen Starr was the woman who was in charge of the swimming.
I understand you're very active still with the University of Minnesota Women's Athletic Program, correct?
Right. I'm the director of development there and work for the scholarship for the women's athletes.
You have to be very pleased to see the progress. I'm sure opportunities that a lot of your contemporaries never had during those years.
Right. Synchronized swimming was about the only thing that was available for a woman swimmer when I was a young woman. And now there's competition, scholarships. It's really very exciting to see what's happened.
Well, enjoy the parade. Thank you very much for stopping by.
Thank you. I really enjoyed it.
All right, the fifth wheel turns it back to you, yokels back at the desk.
He was also the sixth Dave Clark 5, too. He's always one short. I don't know why.
Pat, you have done, as I guess we mentioned a little earlier tonight, the Thanksgiving Day Parade, the Macy's Parade, and that big parade on New Year's Day, probably the biggest of them all.
Yeah. And they're all a little different. I mean, the Rose Parade obviously is florally oriented, and they go for that sort of thing, and the big floats and the flowers. In fact, I think every float has to be completely covered with the flowers.
And in the Macy's parade, you have all the big balloons and all that. But this is very special and unique, I hear, and I have never seen one, and it's going to start any moment now.
We are.
And I'm looking forward to it.
We're going to light our torch in just a couple of minutes. Right now, we're going to take this brief break. Don't go away.
True Value hardware stores have the right True Test paint to cover your entire home beautifully. Like Scrubbable's spatter-resistant Easy Care to give rooms a rich, lasting finish. And Woodsman Stain to preserve and highlight the texture of wood. Durable Exo Rust seals out moisture to prevent rust. And Protective Weatherall gives your house a smooth exterior coat that stands up to the elements. You'll find the wide selection of quality True Test paint exclusively at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
It's your call. You can enjoy the fresh baked quality from Domino's Pizza or take your chances with the Noid. So make the call and taste all the quality from Domino's Pizza. Avoid the Noid. Domino's Pizza delivers. Call now.
Call Domino's Pizza, ask for the Beat the Heat special, a 6-pack of icy cold Coke for just 99 cents with any pizza. Beat the heat this summer with Domino's Pizza.
Ooh, will you look at that?
In more ways than one, you lead me on. You sweet talking, Betty Crocker.
Yeah, you know my weakness.
I can't resist. You leave me breathless.
You did it again.
With more than one way to my heart. You sweet talker, Betty Crocker.
Well, we'd like to welcome you all back to our coverage of the 1987 Torchlight Parade. Now, you may not know this, Pat, but there are over 3,000 people who volunteer during the Aquatennial to put all of these events on. And these are hardworking people, and this is quite an event in this community.
It sure is. And there will be a parade tonight, correct?
There will be a parade. We understand it's on the way over the bridge right
I'm
now.
happy to hear it.
You were talking about the Rose Parade and some of the extravagant floats that you've seen over the years that you've done that. There will be a lot of new floats that you have never seen before. If you've been a student of Aquatennial parades, you've seen them a lot. You will see some brand new ones because the Aquatennial Committee has changed some of the rules and regulations about what qualifies as a float. So you'll see a lot different illumination, a lot more dressy floats in the parades. And I think that if, correct me if I'm wrong, the Aquatennial Committee said that the floats have to cost at least $8,000 in construction to even qualify this year for the parade.
As a result, you'll see a slightly shorter parade. We're expecting about 90 minutes long. Some previous years we've gone as long as 2 hours, 2.5 hours. 90 minutes is what we expect tonight, and actually they are at the other end of the parade right now. You can see the red lights approaching on the police cars just behind us.
We may mention, too, as we did earlier, that this year there is a new route for the parade. Now, we are located right at 3rd Avenue, a bridge across from the post office. This is the new route. The parade actually starts across the bridge, then will wind its way through downtown Minneapolis. So this is a new route. It'll be interesting to see some of the new floats. And I must say, I think the crowds from previous years, they look larger to me than they ever have.
Well, Bill Carlson would be the man to know about that because he's, again, been covering these parades since 1937, ladies and gentlemen. We're very proud of this man here.
You know,
how many of these have you done?
I don't know exactly. I was trying to figure the other day. I'm not exactly sure, but for quite a number of years.
Bill Carlson covered a parade with Nancy Nelson under the worst circumstances of all time.
Yes.
Just before the parade began, this is true, Pat Sajak, just bore the parade began, a gust of wind, one of those Minnesota summer storms, came out of nowhere. Some 80-mile-an-hour flat, straight-line wind blew the set away.
Completely destroyed
away.
The
and
set.
Bill and Nancy, being the professionals they are, said, hand us the microphone, we're going to take it from here, and did the whole parade without missing a beat.
That's the true definition of a trooper. Nice going.
Well, you know, Pat said just a few moments ago that the crowds seem to be denser than they have been in previous years. The parade route is a bit shorter than it has been in the past, so I would suspect that tonight you're not going to see very many blocks where the curbs are just simply not filled to overflowing.
Well, one of the reasons they changed it, of course, was because of the construction going on down along Hennepin and by Parade Stadium. But it will be interesting to see how this goes tonight, and if they decide in the future then to change the parade route again.
And let's just hope at the conclusion of the parade that the critics don't say that the commentators were denser. That's all we can hope for.
I've seen a great many cameras pointed our way here tonight.
Yeah, the folks are friendly. They're waving and taking pictures. It's kind of a show within a show. It's nice. But, it's been that way since I've been in town, and every time I've come here, the folks are very friendly, and they feel I'm very approachable, and I am, and they come over and say hello, and it's always a lot of fun. And I like to pose for them.
That's a spectacular view we're seeing here from our live eye on the sky helicopter with Dale Dobich at the controls. You're seeing there the 3rd Avenue Bridge. It is just on the north side of the bridge, the staging area for the parade. You see there in the middle, those police cars are the escort vehicles which lead the parade. What they do basically is make the parade route just a little bit wider than it would be under normal circumstances, because people walk down the middle of the bridge, and they seem to leak out off the sidewalks onto the
so
highway.
they put little cow catcher devices, I think, on the front of those, and it kind of scoops them up. It's humane.
I don't know if anyone has ever been arrested for being in the parade route, but they have a show of force here. In fact, the lead of the parade is always some huge flotilla, if you will, of police vehicles, paramedics, sheriff's deputies, just all kinds of force.
I think it's terrific this year, though, that they did start over the bridge, because, as we said earlier, they have tried to bring the Aquatennial back to its water theme, and to start over the bridge and over the water, I think, is most appropriate, and it really is a beautiful sight. For those of you who are not out here tonight, of course, it is warm weather, but we have a cool breeze blowing, and it's not that uncomfortable at all. So the people who are seated on the streets and have positioned themselves tonight for the parade have got really a pleasant evening ahead for them, because it looks like there's no rain, at least not in the near vicinity.
I've been very lucky. You talked about Bill's problem with the wind gusts, and I've done 8 or 10 parades of the various kinds we mentioned, and I've never really had we had some rain once in New York, some cold rain for Macy's, but in Pasadena they have been almost frighteningly lucky. I mean, they have had storms until 5 minutes before the parade, and then the sky clears. And January is the rainy season in California, but they have managed to get away without any serious difficulties, and looks as if we're going to have a great evening tonight.
Well, things are just a stone's throw away, and during that stone's throw period of time, we're going to take this break. We'll be right back.
Where's the ragu pasta meals?
This canned spaghetti.
See, the guys, I can't feed them kids food.
Here we go.
When kids outgrow canned pasta, they're ready for the great taste of ragu pasta meals.
That's great.
Grow up to ragu pasta meals. Great taste you don't get from canned pasta.
Some people think swabs are all the same, but you know Q-tip swabs are soft and safe, with 50% more cotton at the tip. Q-tips brand cotton swab, because a swab by any other name is not the same.
The unpopped kernel. A small disappointment, but one that popcorn lovers could do without. Fortunately, there is a microwave popcorn that won't disappoint you. Pop Secret from Betty Crocker. Pop Secret leaves very few unpopped kernels, and it works in any microwave. So if you want big fluffy kernels, not big disappointments, buy Pop Secret. The secret to great microwave popcorn.
Honey, where's Joey?
He's getting something out of the freezer.
Oh, no, not the Shamatov.
Those fruit and cream bars?
Yes, those are for us.
Don't worry. He'll never find them. I hid them real well.
Oh, he'll find them.
He won't find these.
You know, Joey.
Trust me.
Shamatov, the super premium bar.
I knew there was a reason I was putting it off.
Ethan Allen's summer sale.
Now I can get the night tables and a 4-poster bed.
A chance to dream and get just what you've had in mind.
A buffet.
At very special prices with our free decorating service.
Wing chair, wallpaper. I can see it.
Ethan Allen's summer sale for the interiors of your mind.
Live from the 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade, I'm Bill Carlson, along with Pat Miles and Don Shelby, and Pat Sajak of Wheel of Fortune. And as you can see and hear, of course, things are underway. John, you mentioned a few moments ago that they have this big contingent of police vehicles. It's an honorary thing, too, honoring those emergency organizations that do help us throughout the year and certainly during an Aquatennial event, too. So in that, with that feeling in mind, there are Minneapolis Police Squad cars, Minneapolis Park Police, as you can see, a Dalmatian or more aboard the Minneapolis Fire Truck, a Highway Patrol, and a Hennepin County Sheriff's Squad.
I'm used to seeing ceramic Dalmatians, so that's a real one. That's nice.
And he's doing a good job. You know, one of the terrific parts of the parade for the police officers and their families is that the children have an opportunity finally to ride in Dad's car and ride through a parade in downtown Minneapolis.
You'll be seeing throughout these parades individuals walking ahead of bands, walking ahead of floats, announcing the various types of participation. In some cases, you'll find those banners will reveal the winners of the various awards that have been presented to the floats. And they also announce to those people who are not within earshot of our microphones to know exactly which bands are being heard as they round the corner. And we're going to bring you some of those bands tonight because just in front of us, not a block away, is the judging stand for all of the bands. Now, coming up here is the color guard leading the Torchlight Parade.
This is the Princeton High School color guard. Director Beth Beebe, and normally the Princeton High School Color Guard performs the Princeton High School Marching Tigers, but this year they appear alone. Now this group, as you know, Bill, has performed all over the country, in Denver, Colorado, in Houston, Texas, in Orlando, Florida, also Chicago. You know that place, Pat Sajak, Chicago, Illinois. And they placed first at the Red River exhibition in Winnipeg and Manitoba.
And I guess as important as anything, they are the current champions in the State American Legion Field Competition.
Well, there's a favor to Pat Sajak, Disney's Captain Hook.
The honorary Grand Marshal, and we're proud and honored that he could be here to accept that role in the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. So a big welcome to the captain. He doesn't look so mean, does he?
He looks like he should have shaved before he had it over.
You know, we have a lot of the Disney characters this year in the parade. Snow White was the Grand Marshal for the Aquatennial Parade last Saturday afternoon. And you should have seen the faces on the kids when Snow White was out walking in the crowd.
Snow White is 50.
No, she's 14.
14.
She's 14.
The legend.
Always
It's
be 14.
The movie is 50.
Sorry.
She celebrates her anniversary and her birthday at different different connotations.
Like Little Orphan Annie.
I said the same thing, and she corrected me, Pat. She's 14.
Yes, when we interviewed her, we said, how old are you? She said 14. We said, no, how old are you? And she said 14. We said, no, how old are you? And she said 14.
I like your interview technique, though.
The Minnesota Brass Incorporated, a senior drum and bugle corps, is heading our way. About 90 members strong, this group, range in age from 17 to 60. Now, we're going to try tonight to get the sounds of these musical organizations as they approach us. So as soon as we feel they are within the sound of our microphones, we will do just that. We will listen. And I think that time is right now. So let's see if we can't hear them.
Matt Marino, the director of this fine group, and he's directed it in fine shape, looks like.
can see, as well as we can from our vantage point, how highly polished those beautiful brass instruments. And I wonder if I call them correctly. Brass by nature, but not perhaps brass by construction. They look like they're sterling silver out there tonight.
I love that band. Have you ever played in a marching band? Anyone?
No, I would have to play, I'd have to blow and walk at the same time.
What instrument would you play if you had a choice?
I like piano, but I guess
Or
that
cello,
would probably,
I'd go right to the drum, that great big drum.
Anybody ever marched in a parade at all up here?
Oh, well, we've ridden in one every year.
Yes. That, of course, was a drum and bugle corps and differs from a band in that there are no reeds or anything. There are no saxophones, no anything other than drums and various forms of bugles.
I never understood it. You can say there are no wind instruments in that, but how does one get by without using wind in
You guys want to go slower? I'm taking notes.
As Bill said, about 90 members made up that band, and they ranged in ages from 16, I think, to 70? Is that right?
Something like that, 60 or 70. Here are some of the people involved with the Minneapolis Aquatennial, some of those 3,000 folks that make things happen. This is the Aquatennial president, Lee Johnson. He's the president and CEO of Canteen Corporation in Minnesota as a full-time job. But when you become president of the Aquatennial for that year, it becomes pretty much a full-time job.
And I'm going to tell you something else that you know very well. The wife is always someone who does a carload of work. And Karen, his wife, did an immense amount of work for this project.
Well, I think she's accompanied him on many of his public appearances during this Aquatennial Festival. And I know that I've seen them at two things. We had a dinner at WCCO one night for the Queen candidates, and then I was honored to host the fashion show that the Queen candidates held yesterday, and that was quite fun. And he was there, but I'm telling you what, they work hard. These people are all over the city.
Including George and Franny Murnane here, the Commodore and his wife. He's the president of Murnane Associates, and what we learned about him the other night is that George Murnane is the first Commodore of the Aquatennial to be appointed that position, having worked himself through the ranks rather than take it as an honorary Commodore. He has been a volunteer for something like 39 Aquatennials.
And right now we have General Festival Chairman Mike Geiser out there. He's operations manager for Nash Finch Company in Minneapolis. He's been General Festival Chairman now for the 1987 Aquatennial. Did a fine job, and riding along there with... Who's he riding along with?
That's his wife.
Oh, all right. I wasn't trying to start trouble.
You know, it's interesting. The last couple of years, we are seeing brand new convertibles again. There were several years when parade organizations had a terrible time finding convertibles because they weren't being made. So they would have to go into the antique automobile people and say, do you have some nice-looking convertibles? Now, of course, we have brand new ones all over.
I remember there were lots of Jeeps one year. I think that was the only thing they had no top.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
And horses, too. I think we've ridden, what, on horseback? We've ridden in Jeeps. I think I rode in a tractor, too, one year. Convertible.
But you never rode on one of those.
Never rode on a float, though.
You know, we talked about Snow White and her age. Pat, we'll have to tell her that you're the one who brought up her age.
Well, it was an ungallant thing to do.
Now look at that wave. Look at Dopey's wave. He's got that thing down.
Who are you talking to?
No, I'm talking to... No, I'll not say anything.
You know, we mentioned that movie was made 50 years ago for $1.5 million it cost. It was released last weekend for the 6th time. In the last 3-day weekend, it grossed $7.5 million. Wow. Now, that's interesting economics, isn't it?
Yeah. The Twin Cities cable TV companies and the Disney Channel are sponsoring this float here, which is called, guess what? The Snow White float.
How about that? You know, Dopey is the only one of the 7 dwarfs who doesn't wear a beard, right?
Coming up now, the Minneapolis Police Band. Let's listen. They're right on our doorstep.
course, the mayor of our fine city, Mayor Donald Fraser.
He rode also in the Grand Day Parade on Saturday. And as you can see, he never loosens his tie for the parade, as we mentioned then. Always is dressed properly.
Pat, here's some folks from your neck of the woods. Huh?
Oh, yes. They're Mary and John. Mary Hart and John Tesh, hosts of Entertainment Tonight. He's a fine-looking fellow, and she is certainly a fine-looking human in her own right.
Yes.
Isn't she
or in
from
anybody's right.
Now,
Yeah.
isn't she from South Dakota?
I believe so.
I find it interesting that all of the big celebrities in California come from the Midwest. Pat Sajak from Illinois.
They raise them there. They're celebrity farms.
We're going to be back with more coverage of the 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade right after these messages.
Attention car buyers. Don't buy anything until you see this. Now, buy any Mazda 626 in stock and choose $900 in options free from Mazda or get $900 cash back. Buy one of these 323s in stock and choose $500 in options free from Mazda or get $500 cash back. Use cash back toward your down payment or get a check from Mazda. Hurry! Get $900 on 626 or $500 on 323 today.
Lately, shopping at Best Buy has become so popular, people want to buy everything in our stores.
Where's the bakery?
Probably because of our huge selection,
Sweat soft.
our great service,
Excuse me, where are the fondue sets?
and our guaranteed lowest prices.
You got a muffler for a Buick?
But remember, at Best Buy, we just sell stereos, TVs, appliances, and cameras at very low prices.
But my wife says you have cat litter.
True Value Hardware, it's more than a name.
Reel in a big deal with the heavy-duty Master Electrician 60-foot extension cord and a place to store it with the rugged Contico 100-foot cord storage reel. During July, take your choice for just $4.99 each. Look for the hardware value of the month banner at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
We want to welcome you back to WCCO Television's live coverage of tonight's Torchlight Parade. I'm Pat Miles, along with Don Shelby, Bill Carlson, and Pat Sajak, our special guest from Hollywood's Wheel of Fortune. We are looking right now at the Jefferson High School Marching Band from Alexandria, Minnesota. There are 200 participants in this band, ages 15 to 18. Their uniforms, as you can see, the white military coats with the chrome helmets. This is a unique and very talented band, so now let's listen.
You might want to know, before we listen, you might want to know why they're in this position in this parade so far up is because they were the grand champions, voted the grand champions of the Grand Day Parade.
And when you hear them, you'll know why.
Absolutely.
They have a good drum section.
Their drum section is so good that, and I didn't know that this year, Bill and Pat and Pat. I didn't know that they have individual awards for individual sections of the marching bands, and this particular percussion unit won also for its presentation in the Grand Day Parade last Saturday.
Just to avoid confusion, why don't you call Pat Miles Pat and you call me Mr. Sajak?
Don, you mentioned that they were the grand champions at Saturday's Grand Day Parade. That's the third time in the row that they've won that honor. And as you can see, a well-deserved one. Pat Sajak, you said that this is the first time you've seen a parade done at night. You can see it does have a special quality at night.
Yeah, it really does. Not only here in person, but we have a look at the TV monitors, and it's an interesting picture as well.
That, of course, is the helicopter view that sails over it tonight.
Oh, Now, here's an unusual float sponsored by IDS Financial Services. Let's listen to them a moment. They're members of 22 congregations of the Church of God in Christ.
These are the featured performers in the gospel colonists, you know, that played at the Guthrie Theater and traveled all over the United States.
Junior royalty from the Minneapolis Aquatennial featured on this float presentation of the Paddleford Packet Boat Company and sponsored by University Hospital Services. It's in the hands of, or at least being directed by, the Junior Commodore of the Minneapolis Aquatennial. His name is Jeremy Shadd. There he is. And the Aquatennial Junior Queen is Jessica Berry.
I believe we call him a Commodorette.
Commodorette.
This is a replica, of course, of the paddleboard boats, which are seen along the Mississippi River. You can still take the cruises.
Yes, the Jonathan Paddleford docks in St. Paul and has been very, very successful in continuing its trade flying up and down the Mississippi River.
Again, returning to the theme of the water, the Twin Cities ports and ports of Minneapolis, beginning at St. Anthony Falls, one of the great steamboat, side-wheeler, stern-wheeler ports in America, led to it being one of the great cities in all of America as a result of that. And we're going to see a couple of those types of floats that kind of harken back to the steamship side-wheeler and paddle-wheeler days.
Right now we're taking a look at the Anoka High School Marching Band from Anoka, Minnesota. Of course, there are 150 participants. These are kids ranging in age from 15 to 18. Their uniforms, as you can see, maroon and white, gold trim, traditional, and they are directed by John Lace.
Their drum major, Chris Helgestedt, won Outstanding Drum Major in the Parade this last Saturday.
To be able to walk forward as good as that guy walks backwards. You know, as a first-time Torchlight Parade viewer, the first thing that strikes me is how much fun the people in the parade are having. I mean, they obviously are enjoying themselves almost as much as the people watching, I think. It could also be said that from our vantage point when we're seeing them, this is just the start of the parade. See if we see them 2 miles down the road. Their smiles make us appear in this heat.
They've been in the Aquatennial Parade in 84, 85, and also 1986, in the Minnesota State Fair Parade Competition in 84, 85, also 1986, and they were at the opening of Canterbury Downs, of course, in 84 and 85.
They also have had a national recognition. They were Class A champions at the 1987, this year, National Cherry Festival in Traverse City, Michigan.
Well, I have to tell you, people were worried about maybe some rain or worried about it could be too hot. What a night. It's beautiful, nice cool breeze, and things are looking good.
It is absolutely perfect out here, and if you're not at the parade site, we hope you're joining us here on Channel 4.
We want to turn your attention to the St. Paul Athletic Club's entry. It's called the St. Paul Athletic Blanket Bouncing Team. You've seen these things before.
Watch
made
this,
famous
Pat.
by the Aleut Indians in Alaska, and adopted here for our purposes for the Aquatennial.
Would you like to try it, Pat?
No, but I gave it some thought.
They do accept volunteers. Actually, they began many, many years ago in the St. Paul Winter Carnival Parade, and of course for the last couple of years now have also been participants in the Minneapolis Aquatennial Parade. Incidentally, Pat, that's in the middle of the winter. In the middle of the winter, we do the same kind of thing in St. Paul.
Now, I haven't made that one yet, but
we're hoping that you'll come back with
the invitation is open. Yes.
Standing invitation. We're going to take a break as the parade does, and we'll be back after these words.
Mrs. Walter Payton on Wheaties.
When I told my husband Walter they changed his Wheaties, he acted like a bear. Don't worry, sweetness. They're still low in sugar. All they did was take out 25% of the sodium. They still give you energy you need to pick yourself up on Sunday afternoon, and me, energy to pick up after you on Sunday nights. Wheaties, yeah, what the big boys eat. Cute box.
This is Barney. He likes hamburgers, period. That's why I bring him to Baker Square. Mondays, he has their barbecue burger. On Tuesday, it's the bacon avocado cheeseburger. Wednesday, the Dijon burger with special mustard sauce. On Thursday, it's the Works burger with everything on it. It's his favorite. Friday, a simple cheeseburger. Me, I just like a salad and a nice piece of pie.
Try the burgers at Baker Square.
On Monday, it's apple pie. On Tuesday, it's French silk pie.
Honey, look, I'm sorry about the Shamatov. I thought that you liked the strawberry and cream best, so I figured it'd be all right if I ate the last raspberry and cream.
With chocolate?
Yeah, with chocolates.
Shamatov, the super premium bar.
Just you and I. You were king and I was queen in a treehouse in the sky. And now that all our younger years drift into yesterday, I want you to remember.
Hello?
Hi, Billy. Guess who?
Hey, sis. How are you?
And we're back live at the 1987 Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade, and here you see the float that took the Queen's Award in this evening's parade. It's the Taco Bell Fiesta float. Features an 11-member mariachi band. I get that one. Mariachi band called Los Banditos. They're from Prior Lake, Minnesota. How many mariachi bands do you imagine come from Prior Lake, Minnesota?
That's a good question. And Los Banditos, by the way, means the Banditos.
Say, how about that? Look at that.
Oh, look at that shot. That's the Metrodome, huh? Ken Anderson is up there on camera. Dale Dobish, our pilot, up there. I understand the Twins are up 3-1 against the Yankees in the 7th. A little sports update for you. What a pretty shot that is.
How they do that without you throwing out the first ball, I'll never know.
I know. They really took a risk, but it seems to be working out
Can you imagine how many people must be in downtown Minneapolis tonight with the Twins game, which I understand is close to a sellout, and with the Aquatennial parade going on. So if you are driving a car and you are in downtown Minneapolis,
Good luck.
it may be,
Bring
it may
a
be a
sleeping
long
bag.
way. We're looking now at the Hibbing High School band called the Marching Blue Jackets, and as you can see, they are wearing blue slacks, white blouses, and a red sash. The director of this band is Art Hill. They have been in many previous appearances, and they have won many awards. In 1986, they took third place in the Grand Day Parade, and they also took third place in the Minneapolis Aquatennial Grand Day Parade in 1985. They were selected to play at the Minnesota State Capitol, the Taste of Minnesota Days. And also selected to perform at the Aloha Bowl Festival in Honolulu, Hawaii. One of the fun things for all of the bands is to be able to travel, and many of these schools are invited to participate in other parades. And as you know, Pat, because you've hosted parades all over the country, the bands and the students are allowed to participate and travel, and it's one of the highlights for them.
No
Oh, yeah, and it's something they never forget, and especially a huge event like this one. One of the things that parents, I think, never forget is the endless efforts to raise money to go on these trips. I bet I have purchased $8 billion worth of candy bars in a lifetime to send these people where they're supposed to go.
There are 76 trombones there, not a one of them playing at this point.
Well, if it looks like a large band, it is. There are 145 participants. They range in age from 15 to 18 years old. And as you may know, these bands tonight are participating in a band contest. The winner will receive $5,000, and I'm sure most of that money will go for travel plans to march and other parades all across the country.
Crowd on this end of the bridge, at least. I suspect they extend the entire parade route. Here comes that float that looked so pleasant the other day in the daytime, and at night it's just as pretty. It's the one from La Crescent, Minnesota, from their Apple Festival.
They have two princesses aboard, Lori Schultz and Sharon Schlangen. A large red apple revolving within a crescent symbolizes La Crescent, the apple capital of Minnesota. And in case you haven't had a chance to taste one yet, Pat Sajak, the apples in Minnesota are absolutely delicious.
I have not, so
you have to try one before you go home.
You will notice that in many cases, the queens of the various communities will not be on their community's floats. That is because queens who are eligible to be Queen of the Lakes, to be crowned Queen of the Lakes later on, are riding on one of two floats. There are 44 such young ladies, 22 on each of two floats later on in the parade.
The Osaka Japanese delegation is up next. The city of Minneapolis has had an ongoing trade relationship with the city of Osaka, Japan, and there they celebrate a festival much like our Aquatennial, also with water sports, parades, and many special events.
Every year, our Queen of the Lakes, along with an escort, travels to Osaka to attend their summer celebration, and in turn, they send a delegation to attend our Aquatennial.
Here's one of a favorite
maybe in
the parade.
Yeah, this is, you know, we were talking about Pat Sajak driving a different kind of a vehicle, you know, one that would have a great look out there in California as you approach the studios for Wheel of Fortune. Here's a very individualized kind of vehicle.
And the best thing about it is a lot of trunk space.
These elephants come from the city of Champlin, Minnesota. They're new to the parade this year. They're sizable.
They are indeed. They are 11.5 feet tall, and they are 8 feet long. I don't know if you can get the idea of their size from the television screen, but they are absolutely huge as they come down the street. They are spectacular elephants, and they are making their first appearance in this year's Rose Bowl parade. Will you be doing that, Pat?
We're talking.
You're thinking about it.
Where's Champlin?
Champlin is just to the north of the Twin City area. Actually, it's almost directly north of the line between the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul.
Gotcha.
Coming up, the Hudson Senior High School Marching Band, 131 participants, and their uniforms are red, white, and blue. They have the white Aussie hat with the blue plum and the white Oxford shoes. These are the colors, by the way, of the Aquatennial, the red, white, blue, so they fit right in tonight.
And they have a director of many talents. Kristen Chernahoy, not only the director, but also designed the uniforms.
This fall, the band will travel to Orlando, Florida to perform at Disney World, SeaWorld, Epcot Center, and Busch Gardens.
Sounds like they're going to play for us, too, from Hudson, Wisconsin.
27 Wisconsin Pea Soup Day Parade.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the first in the River Falls Parade. And they're going to travel to Orlando, Florida on top of that. So they're busy folks.
This is the Aquatennial Senior Royalty Float, as you're looking at now. Riding on the float are the senior royalty. They'll tell us who they are.
Well, let's see. We have Queen Lorraine Dysart, Senior Royalty Commodores Charles Sarion, and the Ambassador is Orville Presthold, and Senior Royalty Ambassador is Renza Anderson.
Bill Carlson, how do you put this stuff to memory? I'll never understand it. You're an amazing human being.
He knows everybody in town by sight.
Well, their float is sponsored by the Walker Methodist Residence and Health Services, who has been providing lifestyle options for seniors for over 40 years. Valley Fair, I'm sure you know where that is. This 1901 restored antique bus is the pride and joy of Colonel John Phillips Boonpapa. That's the owner of Valley Fair Family Amusement Park in Shakopee.
He is being overwhelmed by the children along the parade route.
The sound you hear there is the Valley Fair Beach Band.
They look like my neighbors back in Los Angeles.
These people are from California, obviously.
That's synchronized marching there. That's a fun group.
They made as much noise as some of the 150-member band.
A true crowd pleaser there. How do you like their marching style?
I think I could march with them. I could fall in line with that kind of step, I think.
You know, there's something that's developed in Pasadena as kind of a spoof on the Rose Parade. It's called the Doodah Parade, and it's a couple of days before the Rose Parade. And it's just silly stuff, synchronized attaché case teams and all that. So that sort of reminded me of that.
Well, here's Don Omon, Hennepin County Sheriff, of course.
He's been attending these parades for a long time.
Almost as long as you, Bill.
This is his 21st consecutive Aquatennial.
And he believes in consecutive years because he's been elected, I guess, to a sixth term, never been done before.
It's unprecedented, that's right. He loves the parades, too. As you can tell, he's got his official wave down. He knows how to do it. And he loves to see the people. If you've ever met him, he is one of the friendliest guys you'll talk to.
Unless you're a crook.
When he says pull over, you're under arrest, he has the greatest smile on his face.
As you can see, we have many people lining the streets here right over the 3rd Avenue Bridge. And they've got a beautiful night for a parade. The weather, although it is kind of hot, because there is a breeze kind of blowing, it's not as hot as we thought it would be. It's actually quite pleasant.
The parade did get a bit of a late start tonight, about 6 minutes later than we had expected. So it got to us a touch later, and there are just a couple of gaps in the parade, but everybody seems to be having a good time.
But, you know, I don't look at them as gaps. I look at them as a chance for some delightful repartee.
A chance to ad-lib. Right?
Conversational opportunities.
Yeah,
is what
I think we should call it. There, I don't know what the percentages are, but it looks like about 3/4 kids out here, which is probably the way it should be at a parade. Huh?
Yes, absolutely true. Everybody in Minnesota loves parades, Pat, and they bring the entire family. Many of these people have been out here since middle of the afternoon with their lawn chairs. They get a prime position, they sit down, they have a hot dog and a Coke, and they wait for the parade to start.
I think you'll understand, Pat, that this is Minnesota's summer celebration. And because we have such very strong and delightful winters, we do with our summers everything we can. And it is a big celebration, not only for the parade, but for these wonderful cities and the people that live here.
Here's Dale Dobish's view of this wonderful city as he rides in the WCCO television helicopter. You know, you mentioned the Doodah Parade in Pasadena. We, this past summer, have had a similar parade right here in Minneapolis as part of Summer Pleasures.
Well, approaching us now is the Hutchinson High School Marching Band, the Bengal Lancer Marching Band from Hutchinson High School. 90 participants. They are wearing the Blue Devil-style uniforms, which are new this year for this band. They've had many previous awards. The Hutchinson Memorial Day Parade, Winco Days Parade, 2nd place. The Wilmer Parade, 3rd place of 7 bands. They also participated in the Hutchinson Water Carnival. No competition there, but the Aquatennial Day and Night Parade, they took 2nd place back in 1986.
In 1980, they traveled to Mexico City, Mexico, and have been paying for it ever since. They're trying to raise the money to go back there again. Santa Bear time, huh? From Dayton Hudson Department Store.
Do they sell the Santa Bear in California, Pat?
Do we have one?
Do you sell Santa Bears out there?
No, I'm not familiar with him. Oh, he is kind of cute. I may have seen him in his. I do very little stuffed toy shopping.
This has become a phenomenon in Minnesota, as a matter of fact. The Santa Bear is very popular. They started selling the bear, and it branched out into T-shirts, coffee cups, Christmas ornaments, everything.
Oh, yeah, I read about it. The Santa Bear dental floss is coming out next year. That's going to be
haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
Santa Bear normally is not seen wearing those multicolored shorts, however. He is tonight.
Nor with the Benilde St. Margaret dance line, as he was seen just there.
We have another delegation here riding in this convertible.
They are from Ibaraki, Japan, a member of the Osaka Prefectural Assembly. Boy Kato is his name. He's Ibaraki, Japan is Minneapolis' sister city and shares many celebrations and lifestyles. There's Christina Pickles, head nurse on NBC's St. Elsewhere.
Popular drama series, and she came in tonight just especially for the Torchlight Parade. It's interesting to have an opportunity to see all of these people in person, and I know the crowd is enjoying it. We saw Mary Hart a little earlier.
You know, I had just had a kind of winsome thought. About a mile down the parade route somewhere, Mary Hart is still waving those pretty little arms. And I'm not there to see it.
You know, we're going to, since we're going to see the Queen candidates all on 2 floats, we do want to have you meet them individually as well. So let's meet a few of the candidates, and we'll meet the rest of them a little bit later in our program.
Hi, I'm Dawn Rimey. Greetings from Spicer.
Hi, I'm Brenda Volker, and I'm Miss Sleepy Eye.
And I'm Kim Jadsis, Miss New Brighton.
Hi, I'm Jody Baldner. I'm from La Crescent.
I'm Carrie Schmidt. Greetings from Robbinsdale.
There's the beautiful downtown skyline in Minneapolis, and as you can see, there is a huge crowd on hand for tonight's Torchlight Parade.
You guys got a pretty city here. There's no doubt about that. We have a couple of pretty cities. This is the Minneapolis entry into the Summer Festival, but we do invite you to come back in the winter for the St. Paul Winter Carnival and get a chance to see that beautiful city as well and its wonderful people.
And it's not as cold
as... The kids are just, as you can see on their faces, Bill, they are just excited to be here tonight. And waving at whoever will wave back.
Everybody loves a camera. They all enjoy it. And so do we.
We're going to take this opportunity. There is a break in the parade to meet a few more of those candidates for Queen of the Lakes.
Greetings from Crosby Ironton. I'm Lisa Mattoon.
My name is Chris Purcell, and I'm Maple Lakes Irish Queen.
Hello, I'm Brenda Anders to Miss Rogers Hassan. Hi, my name is Marisa McCautry, and I'm Miss Red Wing 1986. And I'm Sherry Bump, Miss Glencoe 1986.
We'll be meeting more of the Queen candidates as time goes by. There are 44 of them this year. Those entries come from the cities and towns and villages around the state of Minnesota, as well as the other festivals that are being held. The Aquatennial is certainly the largest of the summertime festivals in the state of Minnesota. By no means is it the only one. And you'll be hearing more about the individual town, village, and city festivals that we'll have to talk about here later on in the parade.
Heading across the bridge toward us right now from Long Prairie, Minnesota, the Long Prairie High School Minnesota Marching Ambassadors. They are 120 strong. They are going to perform at the Queen of the Lakes coronation tomorrow evening, as well as here at the parade tonight. And they were the winners of the Class A competition from Saturday's Grand Day Parade. They do appear to be performing for us, so let's listen. Ambassadors have a toy soldier motif to their uniforms.
Last year, Bill, in the Aquatennial Parade, they took first place, Class A, for Outstanding Drum Major. This is their 24th consecutive appearance in the Minneapolis Aquatennial Parade. They're also going to perform, as Bill said, at the Queen of the Lakes coronation tomorrow. Now, tomorrow, of course, the Queen will be decided. The coronation will be held at International Market Square. We had a chance earlier this week to visit with all 44 of the candidates for Queen of the Lakes, and it's going to be a tough decision for the judges because there are some very nice young ladies participating.
Here's the winner of the Admiral's Award, an entry in the first time in the Aquatennial Parade this year.
And it is the float from KARE TV, Channel 11.
If you look on there, you'll see some of their personalities. Tom Ryder, Kirsten Lindquist, Paul Douglas. They look pretty good. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Well, the float features a fish on the front, as you saw, and the Minneapolis-St. Paul skyline on the back.
And a couple of helicopters whirling about it.
I happen to know Kirsten, Tom Ryder, and Paul Douglas. All of them are riding on the float tonight.
There's Amy Powell as well.
One of the things they didn't mention to us was who designed that float, and I'd like to know because I think it's probably as clever a float as I've seen in the Aquatennial Parade.
There's a Hubert Humphrey Metrodome.
Absolutely.
With a face on it.
That is a very clever float.
Whoa. Do you remember the movie Rodan? He just landed on me. Sorry, I was distracted for a
We are being, because of the lights, of course, attacked by the bugs here. But no mosquitoes.
No. They're very gentle bugs. They don't bite you. They just come on, they tap you, say hello, and they leave. It's nice.
Right.
If they're lucky, they leave. We've got our own swatter out here.
They're just tasting. They're not they're not making off with much.
There's more of the gang.
Let's take a look again at some of the smiling faces lining this parade route. These are families come from all over the state of Minnesota to get a first-hand look at the Minnesota Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. And we had a big crowd on hand on Saturday as well.
That's us, isn't it? Oh,
That's us, yes. Look at our smiling
I couldn't figure out what we were looking at there.
We have a camera that's kind of perched on it. What do they call it? Cherry picker?
That's it.
Cherry picker.
Getting a bird's eye view up there.
This is Smiling, Smiling Faces, 4-H Unicycle Club. A unicycle drill team.
National champs for 3 years, by the way.
Yeah.
Somehow that appears to me to be a difficult way to go along an entire parade. They do it every year. And some of them, as you can see in the background there are some that are pretty high, and they are also taking their turns around the pylon.
Wow.
Now, this group has been in the Orange Bowl Parade, the Salute to America Parade in Atlanta, Georgia, the 4th of July Parade in Washington, D.C., and, of course, the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade right here in Minneapolis. You have to start young.
And I think you have to start short. I don't think you can start on those real tall ones.
Now, this takes a lot more skill. These people make it look easy, but I don't know if you've ever tried to ride a unicycle, but it is difficult.
Yeah, I want to see them run over our cameraman there.
Those cameramen are quick on their feet, Pat. They have to be, especially covering parades. You never know what's going to come up next. Although, as you can see, it looks like Mickey Mouse may be aboard. The float coming up right behind the bicycle riders. How many people are unicycling down the street? It looks like a big crowd.
I think they expected between 25 and 30 participants, and that certainly would seem to have been achieved here. Carrying on the same color theme as those young unicyclists is this float, sponsored by the Northland and Ford dealers. Float all done in red, white, and blue with 6-foot stars on it, and all kinds of special folks riding aboard that float. And they don't appear to be the folks we expected, because I see a lot of misses in front of the names we had been given, and I don't see many young ladies on that float.
Well, these no doubt are all officials from Northland Ford dealerships, and they got an opportunity tonight to ride aboard the float and to meet some of their public.
There he is.
Mickey Mouse, I've been waiting for him all night.
America's favorite rodent right there.
He's celebrating, I don't know how old he is, but he's celebrating his about 54th anniversary, I know.
Older than Snow White, we can say that.
Yes, he is.
A few years older than Snow White. But as Bill pointed out earlier, and it really is true, the Disney characters have endured for over 50 years now and will continue, no doubt, for another 50 years to be just as strong, which gives you some idea of the creativity of Walt Disney when he sat down and thought of these characters that have captured the hearts, well, not just of children, but of adults as well. We've all grown up with them.
It was a real burst of creativity about 50-some years ago, and most of those characters, as you point out, that have endured. Here are a couple of enduring friends of ours, young ladies who are candidates for Queen of the Lakes.
Hello, my name is Ann Swanson. I'm Miss Penn-Skarnestad Queen 1987.
Hello, I'm Miss Columbia Heights, Tracy Eckberg.
Hello, my name is Kendra Bauman, and I'm Miss Delano.
Hi, I'm Beth Shavy, Miss Becker 1986.
And I'm Gina Lind, Miss Blaine 1986.
I think the Queen of the Lakes will be crowned, if I am not mistaken, tomorrow. I've made my decision for Queen of the Lakes. It's a 44-place tie for first. 44-way tie.
You're a true politician, Pat.
I wonder where this group comes from. Monticello.
Monticello.
There it is, just north of the Twin Cities once again.
Looks like Vanna should be marching in that one.
Right.
Excuse me.
Monticello High School Marching Band. They are 155 strong. Their director is Doug Miller. They're going to be busy because they finished the parade tonight. They head for Cheyenne, Wyoming tomorrow for their celebration of Frontier Days.
Busy, busy. Folks on camera here at Channel 4 are doing a great job tonight. Alice Rainville, she's the president of the Minneapolis City Council, has been for quite some time now. She is first elected to the City Council in 1975. She served on the council 13 years. She was elected president of the council in 1980.
Looks like she's riding with our Lieutenant Governor, Marlene Johnson. Is that Marlene? I cannot tell. She's let her hair grow, I think. That is Marlene Johnson, though. And those two are good friends and riding together in this parade. We have, by the way, Pat, one of the finest lieutenant governors.
And this float sponsored by the Minnesota State Fair Association. There are two gophers aboard this one, Pat. Because the gopher is the Minnesota state mascot, of course. These happen to be named Fairchild and Fairborn. And sitting right there is the gentleman that we were introduced to by Mark Rosen just a few moments ago.
Michael Perret.
Michael Perret.
Houston Knights, is that correct? And he says they're going to start shooting again in September. And he sounded like he was anxious for that to begin. Pat, you must know, living in Hollywood, do they just take the summer off, basically, when they have a series?
Yeah, we do a little less work in the summer. It's a little bit of summer vacation. And speaking of summer vacation, you think of kids. Listen to this high-end. And when you think of kids, you think of...
The Smurfs.
Yes.
And we welcome them to the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade, the Smurfs characters.
Now, there are so many Smurf characters. Do you recognize these two?
I think that's Henry and Louise.
Oh, I see.
That's
That's Grandpa Smurf.
Is it?
On the right-hand side.
How do you know that, John?
I have 3 daughters under the age of 9.
And the one with the long golden hair?
This is the New Richmond High School Marching Tigers, 125 strong, ages 14 through 17. And their uniforms are orange, black, and white. Their director is Richard Gregerson.
Another one of these outstanding percussion units within the outfit. First place in the Class AA Best Percussion section of the Minneapolis Aquatennial in 1986. They are considered one of the top 10 parade groups in the country.
They played for Pat Sajak's birthday at Soldier Field in Chicago.
It was quite an event.
Let's listen to them.
listen to this. You ready? You want to be impressed? Here I go. Prince of the North Wind, Ed Kalova. Princess of the North Wind, Mary Jane Thibault. Prince of the East Wind, Steve Kateman. Princess of the East Wind, Marie Holman. Prince of the West Wind, Dick Cruz. Princess of the West Wind, Mindy Rumka. Prince of the South Wind, Tom Ricker. And Princess of the South Wind, Lori O'Malley.
You didn't know that we had that much wind in Minnesota, did you?
I produced almost as much doing that list.
That theme, by the way, is around the world.
Here from our sister station, FM 103 W Light, comes this team of 6 majestic Clydesdale horses. And what a beautiful sight they are. And riding behind those 6 horses, some of the familiar voices on W Light: Bill Brady, Beth Kidd, Orly Knutson, Sherry Mason, Kelly Ryan, and Paul Geiger.
And also aboard some of the staff and management helping them celebrate 18 years on the air and bringing light music, of course, to the Twin Cities area. Now, we rode on a similar wagon with the horses in the Winter Carnival. And I remember being scared to death. Those horses are huge.
Yeah, they're beautiful creatures. They frequently are referred to as gentle giants, and on their harnesses they have lights. Isn't this a beauty? This is a very, very unusual float. Sponsored by the St. Paul Yacht Club, and of course the royalty from the St. Paul Winter Carnival is aboard. King Boreas Ted Steichen, Queen of the Snows Sandra Swenson, and Prime Minister Tim Hughes among them, and several others as well.
Also on this float is the St. Paul Yacht Club's Commodore, Robert Apjohns, and his wife, Marge. And finally, King Boreas, Mighty Protectors, the 1987 King's Guard, under the direction of Captain Kim Zarbinski, all riding on this float. And it is a beautiful thing.
Speaking of royalty on this float, some potential royalty for the Minneapolis Aquatennial. We'd like you to meet a few more of the candidates.
Hello, I'm Shayla Penke, Miss Isanti, 1986. Hello, my name is Cindy White. I'm Miss Longley. Hello, my name is Laura Kruckberg, Miss Centennial St. Louis Park, 1986. Greetings, I'm Laurie Johnson, the 1986 Miss Hutchinson. And I'm Missy Matz, Miss Princeton, 1986.
Back at the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade, Bill Carlson, along with Pat Miles and Don Shelby, and Pat Sajak, Wheel of Fortune, bringing you here the Osseo High School Marching Band. You know, we are discovering here what happens when you take a dark night, add a lot of lights on a broadcast location, and you attract a lot of flying creatures.
There are some bugs landing here that I've never seen in my life.
Well, they've never seen you yet either, Pat, and that's why they're
This band, by the way, Bill, looks big to you. It is 194 strong. In their orange coats and their silver and black pants.
You know what I found interesting about this band is that they won the Sportsmanship Award in the Grand Day Parade. Now, I understand that is a relatively new award, and I think one that makes the competition that much more varied. Not only being judged on how well you play, but being judged on the ability to get along with one another.
Last year they took top honors in the National Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. as well. Those tall fur hats don't seem to be the ideal things to be wearing tonight. Here are
the Queen's riding horses. Western Saddle Club Association presents their queen, Donita Moon, from International Falls, Minnesota, and their princess, September Mueller from Arlington, is also on horseback tonight.
Several breeds out there. Yeah, we have Arabians and quarter horses and Appaloosas.
And we have
about all I know about
motorized
horses.
one there,
Yeah, I
too.
noticed that. Easy to take care of.
Looks like a motorized hobby horse.
But a lot of trunk room.
WSCA incorporates over 17,000 members that show their horses in competition, which gives you some idea of how important that particular industry is in the state of Minnesota.
We have another band approaching here. Let's see which one this might be. Oh, this is not a band, but a group from the Knights of Columbus.
The marching unit. Established in 1969, it marched in 387 parades and in 38 consecutive Aquatennial parades. Now, this group has received over 100 trophies and awards. The leading unit is Commander Joe Favorite, former master of the 4th degree. The Knights of Columbus marching unit. And right behind them, the float. Riding on this float is Chaplain Father Maher, Reverend Roman Glatz, former state chaplain, Reverend Richard Y., Master of the 4th degree, Philip Carter, faithful navigator, Jim McLaughlin, and faithful Captain Leo Fair. Also the Grand Knight, we don't want to leave anyone out here, John Duffy, Knights of Columbus Royalty, Queen Marie Rudolph, and Princess Mona Basquiat.
That's a pretty float. Well, we're going to take a break here as the parade just does have a brief break in it. And we'll be back right after these messages.
Where's the ragu pasta meals?
This canned spaghetti.
These are the guys. I can't feed them kids food.
Here we
go.
When kids outgrow canned pasta, they're ready for the great taste of ragu pasta meals.
That's great.
Grow up to ragu pasta meals. Great taste you don't get from canned pasta.
This mirror reveals the whole truth. This woman just washed with soap. See the makeup and dirt soap leaves? I recommend Pond's Cold Cream to lift away what soap doesn't for cleaner, beautiful skin. No soap does what Pond's does beautifully.
If the label on a paint can looks like it's been written in a foreign language, let your True Test paint specialist help decipher it. Just look for the Painting Help Spoken Here sign at your nearby True Value hardware store. It means that someone is specially trained to answer your questions on different types of paints, how to apply them, and what colors to choose. That way, the True Test paint you select will be perfect for your home and lifestyle. All you need to know is where to find Painting Help, your True Value hardware store or home center.
A&W, the root beer people, have a new cream soda. Naturally, they wanted a star of the first magnitude to introduce it. Luckily, I was available. This A&W cream soda has such old-style creamy taste, it's amazing. In fact, one sip made me wax so nostalgic for the old days, I had all my childhood buddies come visit me in Hollywood. Hi, buddies. New A&W cream soda, regular or diet?
We're back with our 1987 coverage of the Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. And we're listening to the River Falls High School Marching Wildcats.
They received the State of Wisconsin Champion Band Award in field competition in Class AA, as well as several other band awards.
I just counted, Bill, 144 members out there.
Yeah. Your calculator works quickly, too.
Thank you.
Directed by Leroy Lee. If you're a Vikings fan, you may recognize this band because they have performed at the halftime show for the Minnesota Vikings at the Metrodome. Very creative ones.
And we have a break in the parade, and we would like you to meet a few more of these candidates for Queen of the Lakes. There are 44 of them.
Hi, I'm Carrie Heckenleibel, Miss East Bethel. Hello, my name is Nicole Johnson, and I'm Miss Granite Falls, 1986. I'm Heather Edwards, and I'm being sponsored by the Hopkins Raspberry Festival. Hi, I'm Cindy Engstrom, Miss Fridley.
And I'm Stephanie Milliron, Miss Cambridge.
There's Dave Moore. You recognize that guy, don't you? That's the WCCO TV float. Tony McNary is there with his children, our health and science reporter. You see Mark Rosen there as well. Dave Nimmer is standing up, ladies and gentlemen. You may not think he is, but he is standing to his full height.
We're going to toss it right now to Mark Rosen, who is on board the WCCO float. Mark, if you can hear me, tell us what you're doing.
Pat, I think I can hear you, Pat. It's a little noisy on here. We're on, of course, the WCCO float with Terry Sander, Alan Cox, Tony Sample, Carolyn Lowe, Dave Moore, Dave Nemmer, Jim Newman, Tony McNary. And we're really celebrating because the Twins just beat the Yankees 3-1 over at the Dome. It's a few blocks away, over 40,000 at the Dome. And I'm talking to one of the biggest baseball fans I know, Marcia Fleur. Marcia, we're doubly excited tonight.
Well, we're going to have a parade just like this in October.
Oh, I know we are. Right down the mall when the Twins win the series, huh?
Through the Dome.
We're having a great time out here, and the Twins had a great time. A lot of baseball fans asking us how the Twins did. Perfect hit a 2-run homer. Puckett hit a home run. Viola got the win. Reardon got the save. That's it in a nutshell. I know Pat Sajak will be happy to hear that. You're going to have to stay in town, Sajak, because you're good luck to the Twins. That's all
Mark,
there is to it.
you have to stop now. It's time to do the weather.
We do want to remember, too, that the St. Louis Park Community Band was aboard. They're reminding us of CCO Community Band concerts this summer. And we did want to thank, too, Carrie Hofeld, who is the driver, and Best Wengers Hardware of New Brighton.
You think Mark's having a good time tonight?
I think he is. You know, Dave Moore, who was riding on our float tonight, how many parades do you suppose he's ridden in?
A great many, I'm sure.
As many as you've commentated, I would think.
Perhaps, and probably a good many more.
You know what I'd like to do? What's that? I'd like to see more Queens. Is that possible?
Sure, I think we can arrange it. Let's try it there.
Wow.
Kidding.
Hi, I'm Marla Murphy, Miss Monticello 1986.
Sarah Miller, Miss Sauk Center. Kimberly Trosen, Miss Ferndale.
Hi, I'm Dana Rethlick, the 1986 Miss Clara City.
If you think that's a high-up shot, I want to show you another one. See, now that's about 100 feet off the ground. That's about 600 or 700.
And that's where we're located at the end of the bridge, as you can see.
Well, it must be getting crowded over by the Metrodome because the Twins game, as Mark just told us, is over. And I'm sure those people are now making their way towards downtown, perhaps some of them staying for the end of the Aquatennial Torchlight Parade.
That's 40,000 people that are trying to find their way out of downtown. Some of them who did not know that the Aquatennial Parade was on may have a surprise for them when they try to find their car and try to get out.
They may come face to face with these 100 people marching as the Mankato Area 77 Lancers from Mankato, Minnesota. Their director is Ted Gullickson, and
they're having quite a year, Bill. Let's see. They placed first in the North Mankato Parade Competition, Mountain Lake Parade Competition, the Apple Valley Parade Competition, and the Rodeo Days Parade Competition in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Did they place second in anything at all?
Funny you should ask, because I think they placed second in the American Legion Field Competition in Bloomington.
Well, it had to happen.
I think the estimate of the length of this parade was perhaps a little bit off because we still have 20, 30 units to go, and we have arrived at the witching hour of 10 o'clock. We expected the parade to be over.
Who are these clowns?
You've been waiting all night for them, Pat, the Aquajesters.
Yeah. Aquajesters is one of the oldest and largest clown clubs in the country, and they are terrific. They love their work, and...
I want a big troop! Big troop!
The group is led by their chief, Leroy Wasterberg, and producers Jerry Walk and Lenny Jacobson.
They won a community service award last year, and it's typical of the kinds of work they do all year round. Every year, they are not only an Aquatennial organization, but they are in year-round operation.
Well, and they do a lot of community service work, as you know, Bill. They are working constantly with the senior citizens and, of course, with many of the children. They go around to some of the area hospitals.
And I just like saying aqua jesters. I could sit here all night and just say, hi, how are you?
Come on down.
Oh, that's the wrong show.
Wrong show, yeah.
Every clown, of course, is charged with developing his own little bit of shtick, as they say. And it's interesting to watch as years go by because they change, adjust, add to. Several of them have turned their little idea into motorized vehicles.
There's Laurel and Hardy. And something of a farm clown, I guess, with that hat on. Now this, of course, is the part of the parade that the kids just love. Uses a bat, so if anybody hits the wrong note, well,
bad idea.
You can imagine. They must have, what, at least 50 clowns participating in this Aquajester group?
Oh, let me check.
He has.
Tammy, they love us here.
A plate full of money. You know, nothing is too silly to get a laugh on a night like this when you get into the proper mood.
And what's a parade without a little extortion? I've always said that.
We are, of course, at the 1987, the 48th annual Minneapolis Aquatennial Torchlight Parade.
Coming up here is the Skipper Award for the 1987 Minneapolis Torchlight Parade. This one is sponsored by Domino's Pizza. And this is typified by not only the obvious logo that you see on Domino's Pizza, the red, white, and blue, but falling dominoes and the space-age kind of delivery card looks like out there highlight this red, white, and blue float. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Domino's Pizza recently became the world's largest pizza delivery company in the United States. You know, I just about said the world's largest pizza delivery company in the country. But I don't think that's possible.
No.
Riding the float are Domino Pizza employees right here from the Twin Cities.
You know, last year they sold over 50 million pizzas. I just made that up, but I thought, I figured who's going to check?
I wondered where that came from. Now, isn't it Domino's that delivers the pizza within 30 minutes?
Well, not on this float, but...
Not on this particular float.
I think that's their guarantee.
Or they'll eat it. I think that's the motto.
I think Don is beginning to hallucinate. Is it my imagination? Has one too many bugs blown in his ear?
Well, you might be able to see coming right behind the Williston High School band from North Dakota with 112 participants. They've appeared in many North Dakota local parades.
You know, this band last year ate more than 50 million pizzas. They've
marched all the calories off.
Pat, yeah, look at this parade float, and the Queen's aboard here.
I guess you want to know who sponsors it, huh? I believe it's Spencer Carnesdog.
That's exactly right.
Thank you. Very good.
Right.
Thought you had me there, didn't you?
You heard us laughing a moment ago. I handed a piece of paper to Pat Sajak with the word Spencer on it, and you heard him just pull it off perfectly.
Yeah, well, riding aboard this float are visiting queens from all around the country, Pat.
They're here to celebrate
From the
the
Sweden
Minneapolis
Center.
Aquatennial, as well as the Swedish heritage of many of the Minnesota people. Many of the visiting queens are here.
What is David Wood doing on that float? David Wood is riding on the Spencer float.
These are the folks we saw earlier on, just before the parade began. Members of the University of Minnesota cheerleaders groups, football, basketball, hockey cheerleaders, University of Minnesota dance line.
This group was established in 1949 and performs at all the men's and women's sporting events at the University of Minnesota. The group is made up of the University of Minnesota alumni who all went through the school's music department.
Well, we didn't train in their enthusiasm, did we, by...
What you don't see during the parades are all of the hours of practice that go into these bands. They spend hours and hours putting together their routines, practicing the numbers that they intend to play during the parade. And all of that hard work pays off then, and they finally do get an opportunity to perform for the crowds.
University of Minnesota Rouser. And coming up next, this float sponsored by General Foods Corporation, Log Cabin Syrup and its 100th anniversary. It actually has Minneapolis beginnings, Pat, formulated by a gentleman in northeast Minneapolis. His name was Towel. He formulated it quite some time ago, before the turn of the century, manufactured the product here in Minneapolis for 40 years, then sold it to General Foods Corporation way back in 1927.
Well, the product was called Log Cabin in remembrance of Towel's boyhood hero, Abraham Lincoln. And he then manufactured the product for 40 years.
Any chance those people will stick to the float?
Well, as you know, Log Cabin syrup has become a national favorite, especially over as their float depicted the pancakes.
No parade is complete without the Missouri Shrine Temple. 160 individuals in this, ages 50 to 65. Captain is Gary Gustafson, the commander is Bob Thomas. The Missouri Shrine Temple has been the backbone of the Aquatennial Parade since its inception back in 1940. The Minneapolis Shrine Organization has 11,000 members involved in a variety of philanthropic and social activities.
Well, the Color Guard was formed in 1976, wearing uniforms dating back 200 years. And as you can see, they are wearing the national colors and service colors. By the way, they took first place in Midwest competition in
star here, you see the potentate and the divan. The divan is the governing board of the Minneapolis Shrine organization. They each served for 10 years. The potentate is Tom Shelton.
This is the Zura Shrine Drum Corps, founded in 1921, and they are playing for us, so we are bound to listen. Is the Zura Shrine Patrol, which is strictly a marching unit. Formed just before the turn of the century, as a matter of fact, to display drill demonstrations.
Well, this patrol was the first uniformed marching unit in the country, and this year's 30-member unit is led by President Hobie Swan of St. Anthony. Let's take a look now at Circus, the originator of the parade. This Circus Caravan announces that the circus is in the Twin Cities all year round. Circus has 3 big tops of family entertainment and dining pleasure, as you know. You're taking a look now at Bumper, the circus clown, and Waldo the Walrus. This is a place the kids always want to go eat. They've been in the Twin Cities, the circus restaurants, for 7 years.
That's Mark Robeson of the Gummy Festival in Wagga Wagga, Australia. And welcome, Mark Robeson. Australia is a very, very, very popular country in the United States. I think having to do with Wall Hogan and
here's RoboCop.
This is the laser float for the Torchlight Parade, and it's the first time lasers have been used on a float.
Was designed by Orion Pictures Corporation and Niemer Fieger and Associates, who is the local representative of Orion. You can see some lasers working there, and that is the suit that is used in the movie, which is now playing around the country, and has been getting some very interesting and mostly very positive reviews. Look at those lasers.
Special water chiller was shipped to Minneapolis from California for this event, as was Pat Sajak, of course.
We came in the same boat.
I was going to ask you that.
Next up, the Robbinsdale City Band, and they're already geared up and playing. So listen up, this 90-member band hasn't missed a single Aquatennial parade.
as this band passes by to introduce you to a few more candidates for Queen of the Lakes.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Flatibo, and I'm Wilmer's 1986 Coffee Fist Queen.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Wendland, 1986 Miss Litchfield.
I'm Lisa Laliberty, and I'm 1986 Miss Apache Plaza.
Hi, I'm Carla Maxwell, Miss Northeast Minneapolis. And I am Mary Ripplinger, Miss Albertville.
And speaking of queens, we have 22 of the Queen, on this Queen Court float. We have 22 candidates for Queen of the Lakes here, sponsored by Barrett Moving and Storage Company. Of course, we have two floats, 2 times 22, 44. That works out, doesn't it?
Right. And aboard these floats are many of the young ladies you have been meeting close up here tonight. Incidentally, I've just been given the final award winners in the Torchlight Parade, the float award winners for Best Illumination and Excellence in Themed Legend Sales. Care float won that one. The Most Beautiful Float, the Queen's Award, Taco Bell. Skipper Award for Most Unique goes to Domino's Pizza. The Judge's Special Award to the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah, we're looking at Captain Ken's Firehouse Beans Incorporated, their float.
Celebrating their 20th year of business.
That's actually a reconstructed old engine. Captain Ken was actually a fire captain for some time.
Served for 25 years in the St. Paul Fire Department before retiring to start his theme business.
Next up, the Lakeville Senior High Marching Band from Lakeville, Minnesota. 110 proud members of this group, and here they come. Coming up here next is something that you need to come back and see. It is the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. And it defies description, but if anybody can do it, Bill Carlson can. Explain these people to me as Pat Sajak.
It actually takes you back into the days of the Renaissance as you walk through the grounds. It's really quite remarkable. King Henry and Queen Caroline are always present with their retinue. As you see, they are enjoying life here today, but when the people who attend the fair also drift back in time, it's very, very unusual. Minnesota Renaissance Festival, incidentally, not only the largest such festival in the country, but it's one of the top 100 events in North America.
Now we'd like you to meet some of the other Queen candidates. The 44 running for Queen of the Lakes.
Hi, I'm Chris Peterson, Miss Sons of Norway.
Hi, my name is Debbie Schreier. I'm Miss Brindley Park.
Hi, I'm Karen Corbett, Miss Rockford.
Hi, I'm Tina Erickson, Miss Buffalo.
And I'm Vicki Billahus, Miss Montevideo.
And here are 22 of them live on the City of Rochester float.
This is the second of 2 floats carrying half of the candidates for the Queen of Lakes. And these blue and white floats were made by volunteers from the City of Rochester. They made 2 floats this year, both of them identical, to carry the 44 Queen candidates.
With all of the 22 girls waving, you'd swear that float is going to lift up off the ground.
And the Queens will be, as I said, will be crowned. The Queen will be crowned at the International Market Square tomorrow. And that will be covered, of course, by WCCO TV. We'd like to give you an opportunity to see all of the candidates up close. And here's the opportunity to see some of the few.
Hi, I'm Penny Schutz, Miss Golden Valley.
I'm Lisa Enders, Miss Glenwood Waterama.
Hi, I'm Michelle Bleeker, Miss Annandale.
Hi, I'm Nancy Trutland, Miss Crystal.
And I'm Jennifer Tallrood, Miss Richfield.
The Colonial Old Guard, color guard, well, no, they're not here. Here's the 451st Army Band. There are 44 members directed by John Brandt.
These report Snelling people out of the Army Reserve Unit stationed there, part of the 88th United States Army Reserve Command. In April, the group was invited to perform at the Army Band Masters Conference in Norfolk, Virginia.
Here in the Twin Cities is that all you television stations get along so well, and here we are talking about another one.
Here's KSTP, and representing them in front of that big television set, good company hosts Steve Edelman and Sharon Anderson, and news anchors Stan Turner and Ruth Spencer. And it seems to me that perhaps a few more members of the staff may be on hand there, too. Following that big balloon, there is a break in the parade, and we're going to take that opportunity to bring you these messages.
To keep your shredded cheese fresh, you can stick to the old ways. Or you can try the new Zip Pack resealable bag from Sargento of Wisconsin.
My dad didn't have the words to tell me he loved me. But then he didn't have to. See, they were written all over his face.
And now that all your work is done,
Hello?
I've gone
Dad. Hi.
Hey, son. They're not working you too hard, are they?
No, Dad.
I won't drift away.
Long distance from Northwestern Bell. Don't drift away.
I knew there was a reason I was putting it off.
Ethan Allen's summer sale.
Now I can get the night tables and a four-poster bed.
A chance to dream and get just what you've had in mind.
A buffet.
At very special prices with our free decorating service.
Wing chair, wallpaper. I can see it.
Ethan Allen's summer sale for the interiors of your mind.
Welcome back to WCCO's coverage of the 1987 Aquatennial Torchlight Parade. How's it going so far, gang?
You are doing a superb job, Sajak, and we are so pleased to have you here tonight. You have no idea what it means to all of us.
Well, it's my pleasure, and my pleasure to introduce you here to the Forest Lake City Marching Band. 105 fine musicians strutting their stuff. Last year, this group named the #1 city band in the nation from the All-American Judging Association.
So for a band that was only established in 1981, they've done a lot of and accomplished a great deal in one open-class band in the state of Minnesota, and only being in existence for 6 years. 4 of those, the #1 band. Here is a guy who is twice as big as you are.
I'd say at least 2.5. That's my old buddy coming up.
We're going to let you just wonder who it is there.
Willard Scott from the Today Show. Willard and I actually have worked together on parades. We did the Macy's parade. I got to stand up and get Willard's attention here.
He looks like he's been hit by the Vulcans, too.
Willard!
Oh, Willard saw you.
I'm so excited. Sit down before you kill yourself, Scott.
The Roosevelt Rockettes were preceding this last float, which is the Minneapolis Aquatennial Association float, bearing the Queen of the Lakes. That's not the Queen of the Lakes breathing fire and smoke there, however.
Sandra Pileski will be giving up her crown tomorrow to one of the 44 candidates that we have been showing you not only here on the floats and throughout the parade, but also in the segments that we brought to you on videotape.
Also aboard with her are Princesses Jody Peterson and Ann Minks. This float is the former Tournament of Roses winner and was originally designed for Singapore Airlines.
Beautiful float, isn't it?
And what that float signifies in the Torchlight Parade as the Queen makes her way aboard the Aquatennial Dragon float, that signals the end of the 1987 Aquatennial Torchlight Parade.
And the
but our
Minneapolis
coverage continues.
The Minneapolis Police Squad cars, of course, wind up.
We do want to remind you, however, that it doesn't end the Aquatennial, which continues for a couple more days here.
And if I may, you three, Don, Pat, Bill, you've been very generous in your compliments tonight, but you've really been a pleasure to work with, and it's been a lot of fun for me, and hope we can do it again sometime, huh?
I do, too. We'll look forward to it, perhaps at the Winter Carnival. In the meantime, we're going to take this quick break. We'll be right back.